page that there's so many patients out there who don't know why they've had surgery and don't know how their surgery works, and therefore don't know how to get the best out of their surgery. So I'm trying to educate as many people as I can, because there's too many people that think it's about not eating enough or not eating much. And
guess what, guys?
We're not doctors.
No, we are not.
If you're going to be making any major medical decisions, please consult your doctor.
That includes diets, exercise, medications, and surgery.
We love you guys.
And we want you to continue to be in our OSLP family forever.
So be careful and consult your doctors. Have you heard of ProCare, or just have you been living under a rock?
ProCare is the very first bariatric multivitamin to develop a one-a-day vitamin. That's right, you heard it correctly. One a day. And they also have delicious dark chocolate calciums that are available during the winter months.
That's right. So go to procarenow.com, get your calcium chews, get your multivitamin, and use OSLP for a discount.
Who else feels like portion control is the number one hurdle in a weight loss journey?
I know I do, but that is why we go to Portion Perfection to get all of our needs met, because they have cups, they have bowls, and they even have recipes for us. It's so nice.
They also have the kit and carry, which is perfect for on-the-go portion control. So click the link below and get yours today.
Are you located in the Florida area?
Well, we have the perfect office for you. Dr. Fridley and his wife, Macy, have created the perfect, welcoming, and safe place for your bariatric journey.
That's right. So click on the link below to start your weight loss journey now. And don't forget to tell them that the OSLP's girls sent you.
Welcome back, OSLP family!
Welcome, welcome.
You are listening to Our Sleeve Life podcast, and this is Kelly.
This is Mel.
And we are about a month away from the biggest celebration of the year, which is the Just Be You Bariatric Award Show.
Yes.
It is based in DC this year. It is going to be now. We change it up every year. Last year was Portland. This year's DC. Next year, who knows where we're going to go? We may have an idea, but we're not telling.
Yeah, you might have to join the live stream or be in person to find out what area we're going to be doing the next JBY for 2024.
Exactly.
So if you don't know what Just Be You is, what's wrong with you?
Yeah. Living under a rock.
Be living under a rock. But basically what it is, it's a People's Choice Award for the bariatric community. So that way you guys got to nominate each other in April. You guys just got done with voting on each other.
Just done.
We don't even know the results yet.
Yes.
So this is crazy. And now you guys, it's open for ticket sales. So it is September 30th, Washington, D.C. at the Howard Theater. Go over to jbyawards.com, get your ticket right now. If you cannot join us in person, we get it. It's expensive to travel, do all the things.
Yes.
That's why we have live stream. And it is free. Comes with a digital swag bag, but you have to register for everything, which is all on the website.
Yes.
So go
right on there.
To jbyawards.com.
Yes. And if you are coming out for the show, yay, we can't wait to meet you. Make sure you come up, say hi to us. Everybody is very warm, welcoming. You will have no problem finding your bariatric friends during this event.
No, you won't.
But there is lots going on this weekend.
Yeah.
Or that weekend.
When does it start?
It starts on the 28th of September.
Yes,
we are starting it with a free, that's right, I said free, live podcast by yours truly.
At the Eaton House.
At the Eaton House, which is the hotel that we have our room block through. So that is free. You must register for that. Yes, it is free, but you must be on the list so we know how much food to buy.
Yep.
So also, while you're on jbyawards.com, you want to scroll through until you get to add-ons. Now, add-ons is the live podcast. We have wellness mornings both on Friday and Saturday morning. Thank you, findabariatrictherapist.com for sponsoring those. We have a yoga session, a sound bath. We have workout meetups, and both on Friday morning and Saturday morning. So make sure you sign up for those so that you can be a part of the entire weekend.
That's right.
Now on Sunday morning after the show,
something special happens.
Yes. We every year we throw a big Benchy Brunch. Now,
Yes.
if you don't know what a Benchy is, again, living under a rock, but that is our group of people that are in our support group on Facebook. It is ran through our Patreon. So
Yes.
patreon.com/OSLP, become a Benchy, and you get to attend that for free. Again, free.
And where is it at, though?
It is on the rooftop
There we go.
of the Eaton, and it is a fantastic location. We are so excited. We get the entire rooftop to ourselves. They are making us brunch. We get to just mingle, have a good time,
Take photos.
and just say goodbye after a fabulous weekend.
Yes.
So make sure that while you're on JBY Awards, don't just sign up for the swag bag. Don't just sign up for the live stream notification. Make sure that if you are in person, you are checking out those add-on events.
That's right. Because there's
So-
so much fun coming.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And we also want to take a second and pause and thank our amazing sponsors, because without them, this would not be possible.
No.
So, top sponsor always, last year, this year, ProCare. We love them so
Mhm.
much. They're a fabulous vitamin company that came out with the very first one-a-day bariatric multivitamin.
Right.
So go over and check them out.
And our second one is SABP, which is Surgical Associates of Bayonet Point, which is Dr. Fridley in Florida. He is a lovely man. He really wants to take care of this community. He can see the need, and that's why he's sponsored. And he even sponsoring a nominee to come to the show. How cool is that?
Big deal. Big deal there.
Yeah.
Next up, you guys know her. You love her. It's Jamie, the sleeve dietitian. She runs the Tribe membership program. She is an amazing woman that cares so much about this community. And not to mention, she just came out with her book.
I was going to say,
So
she even has a
you can
book.
pre-order it right now. So go over and pre-order. It is in our link in bio. We will also have the details listed below. So go pre-order. Make sure that you are doing reviews on Amazon. Make sure you are doing all the things to help support her, because she puts so much of herself into supporting us
Yes,
as a
she
community.
did. And so does Eric Smith with the Kentucky Institute Center. Did I say that right?
Bariatric.
Bariatric
Kentucky.
We're going to go with
It's
Kentucky.
Kentucky.
But for those that don't know who Eric Smith is, he's a surgeon. He does the TLC, 1,000-pound sisters surgeries. He's very well known, and he really cares about this community. He's been a part
You
of it.
did say it right. Bariatric Institute.
Yeah.
I had to
Woohoo.
check that really quick. Okay.
Yeah, because he's been in this community for over 20 years. He's literally done every surgery. So he's done it where it's been open. He's done laparoscopic, and now he does robotics.
Yes.
So he's all over the place.
Mhm.
He just wants to make sure we're all healthy.
Correct.
So I want to say a big thank you for him to really sponsor us and help us out.
And next up is, you guys know them, Dive Bar Nutrition. They are the perfect combination of protein and caffeine to get you through your day.
Yeah. I
Uh,
take it during that 3:00 slump.
Yeah. And
deal.
they are delicious. Absolutely delicious. So we want to thank them, of course, because they get us through our day.
They do. And they're going to do something fun during intermission.
So make sure that you're there in
Make sure
person
you're watching or
watching.
in person for that one.
Yes.
Yes. And we also have Ashlyn.
Mhm.
She's been on the show like 3 or 4 times. She's a bariatric therapist. We just freaking love her. And she designed a Find a Bariatric Therapist website.
Mhm.
And that's who's sponsoring, because we all know that the hidden key to everything is therapy. We all know it's water, protein, sleep, exercise, but that one is therapy. So now you can just go to her website, type in your zip code, and you can find someone near you. And if you know any bariatric therapists that aren't on that list that are near you, just notify her and she will add them.
Yes.
Yes.
Next up is Body Map, which that is the coolest thing we've ever found.
I know.
So get rid of those old school tape measures that you use to measure your body after surgery, okay? Just throw them in the trash. Body Map is an app that you set up. It scans your body. What? Scans your body. And then it transitions it into what your measurements are.
Yep.
So you can scan your body the whole journey and see exactly how much you've changed. So if that scale is telling you that you're in a stall, you may not be. So pull out your body map app, and then you get to see exactly what your measurements are.
Yes,
and
because
it makes little emojis of
we
you.
know how we've been in stalls before.
Yes.
They suck. It's a mental game. But if I had body map to tell me like, oh, but you've lost like 2 inches around your waist and like some around your arms, I would be like, oh, okay.
I'm good.
Oh, I'm
I made
good.
a difference. I made a difference.
Some sort of like uphill strategy for this.
Exactly. So, and then lastly, but not leastly, Fusion. We love Fusion. We've met them at ASMBS last year. This year, they're great freaking people, and they will be at the show.
They will be.
Super excited about that. They have calcium chews that are very well, like they're so good tasting wise.
Yes.
So make sure that you go check them out. And then we do want to give a special shout out to the ASMBS Trio Foundation and also WLSFA for giving us their stamp of approval that we are a legitimate bariatric event.
Yes.
So
thank you.
All right. So now you guys need to, we already talked about our Patreon. So last thing but not least, you need to go over to YouTube.
Yeah, because it's a free way to support us.
Yes.
Literally, it's on your phone. It's already preloaded.
Yep.
Click on it, type in our Sleep Life podcast, hit subscribe and the bell, and you'll get notified about these videos every single Tuesday. You get a new one. And you would know that we've had a very patient guest with us this whole time. And he has been with us for a while. I'm so excited for us to introduce him.
Yes.
His name is
Simon Monkhouse. Thank you for joining us on our show all the way from Italy.
Yeah, Italy today.
Yeah, I don't live in Italy. I'm just in Italy.
Well,
yes,
I mean,
true.
Yeah. So, where are you based out of?
I think I'd like to live in Italy. It's beautiful.
It looks beautiful.
So I am based in the UK, just outside London. I won't give you the specific place because you probably won't know, but just outside London.
Okay.
And I'm a bariatric surgeon, and I know, being a bariatric surgeon, that surgery is probably the least important part of the whole journey.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
My whole team's ethos is that it's all about the journey. It's all about getting to the root cause of problems. What I can do is I can help adjust the science that's gone wrong in your body, the physiology that's gone wrong in your body, but it's everything else that's going to keep it there.
Oh,
wow.
I like that.
Okay.
Okay.
Can you give us an example of how you do that?
Or how does that work?
Yeah. So when bariatric surgery first started, people thought you just needed to restrict how much you eat.
Mm-hmm.
And that science is now old-fashioned and is wrong. So bariatric surgery does not work by restricting how much you eat primarily. Now, it's a side effect of the surgery that you eat less, but actually the way it works is through hormonal change of your gut, your metabolism. Every time you eat, your guts, your stomach, your bowels send signals to the brain. They are hormones that go to the brain, and that controls how hungry you are. That controls what type of food you're interested in. It controls everything about how the fat's going to be stored. It's going to be controlling everything. And surgery adjusts the hormone conversation to your brain.
Okay.
And that's the key. And that is why just restricting how much you can eat doesn't work. You have to change the hormonal crosstalk between your guts and your brain. And that's why medication is now a really key topic, because medication is able to target the hormones.
Yes.
Oh, so that's the biggest difference.
Yeah. Well, and I'm actually on a GLP-1 medication. So I can attest to that it is a complete difference between before surgery, after having surgery, and being on a GLP-1, and the changes mentally and the changes physically that happen when you take a medication like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the hormones influence your brain, and it's your brain that is controlling your whole system. So what GLP-1 medications do is they suppress the medication. They suppress the hormone.
Okay.
And therefore your body is not having that signal to eat. that drive to eat. So it's suppressing your hunger. The downside of the medication, which you must be aware of, is it only works when you're on it.
Yep.
Yes.
Because when you come off it, the suppression is lifted, and then you go back to normal.
Yep.
And even with surgery, you will notice that year 3, year 4 down the line, people start the regain process, usually not to the same extent as before, but some regain. And that's because the hormones are re-shifting and coming back again. So, we talk about ghrelin, with a sleeve. Those levels drop in the first year substantially, and everybody notices the benefit of that, but they rise again after 12 months. Yes. So the sort of drive to eat and the hunger starts coming up, and that's where you've got to put in the behavioral control that you've learnt up until that point.
Yeah, and we've heard from people that there are some people after surgery that still have those hunger feelings, even though it's supposed to be dropped. Is that accurate? Like, some people are just different?
Yes, because the control of hunger is not a single factor. So we talk about the ghrelin levels dropping, but there are 35 other gut hormones, probably even more, as they become discovered. And also, hunger is not necessarily a signal from your gut saying you need food. It can be an emotional signal from your brain saying you need comfort.
Yes.
So you have to separate emotional hunger from actual hunger. And don't forget that all of this is derived from our evolutionary need to survive. So, back tens of thousands of years when we were on the plane looking for food, we would either be food or search for food.
Yeah.
So the drives to eat and survive are ingrained in our genetics and in our physiology, and it's the same physiology and genetics that was way back there. It hasn't changed, but what's happened is our environment has changed.
Yeah, drastically.
So when you are in a period of feast or famine, your body can choose to store fat or use fat. But in the society we live in now, it's feast or feast, the food all the time.
Yeah, there's food
we
everywhere.
Never have that. We never have that period. So our physiology is constantly, trying to store food in case we get starving, but we never get starving.
No.
So you constantly get this thing. And it's fascinating. The science behind this is fascinating. And you cannot think of your surgery as chopping out the stomach just makes you eat less. That's not how it works.
We kind of could tell that just from all the doctors saying, like, hey, from before surgery of just eat right and exercise. And it's like, we've been trying.
Yeah.
It's literally, our physiology that's like holding us
back.
Oh,
we never thought to just eat less
and
work out.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. If it's that simple. But obviously from the hormones for the brain, the ghrelin, the gut hormones, like all of that plays a part, which is why obesity is a disease. It's not a symptom.
It's not a consequence for just eating.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yes.
And it's a chronic disease. And by chronic, I mean long-term disease. So you can never talk about it, or you should never talk about it as being cured. So surgery doesn't fix your obesity. Surgery puts your obesity into remission.
Oh, okay.
So it's potentially always there in the background, which is why you have to keep working at your relationship with food. Because if you go back when your hormones were driving you to eat lots of sugary things, if you go back to that, you will reset things and you will put the weight back on again.
Oh, that makes so much sense.
Yep.
So when I had surgery, I restricted very, very heavily. I was only eating protein, very few veggies. Like, I was very no sugar, no carbs. And then when I went through my divorce, in order to comfort myself and battle that emotional part of it, I started eating sugar again. And that's where my regain started.
Yep.
So that makes complete sense on why what my body just like, it felt like it regained overnight. I know it didn't happen like that, but it felt like my body was just like, oh, sugar again.
Yep.
We're going to hold on to it. So that makes a lot of sense.
And the other thing is that not all calories are equal. So a calorie of sugar is different to a calorie of protein. So if you think about you eating protein, it's quite hard to digest. Think about a piece of meat.
Mm-hmm.
You have to chew it. It has to be broken down into lots of different pieces. It takes ages for it to fully digest.
Yep.
It gets all the way to the lower end of your gut before that happens. And that makes you feel full, and you've expended a lot of energy in breaking that down.
Yeah.
So the energy that you take out of that food is a lot less than the energy that was put in. Whereas sugar is very quickly absorbed, and it's absorbed right at the top. Almost as soon as it hits the stomach, it's absorbed into the bloodstream. And so you get all the impact of that, and your body hasn't spent much energy getting rid of it. So a calorie of protein, you're probably going to get 7.7 calories out of it in your daily count, if you like. Whereas a calorie of sugar, you'll probably get a calorie of sugar. So eating protein and fiber, your body needs a lot of energy to work on that, and it uses the energy from the food, so you don't deposit as much.
I did not know that.
I did not know that either.
Oh, I like this. Okay.
You need to make your body work for your food. If your body's not having to work for your food, you're going to put it on.
So make your food work for you.
Yeah.
I like it.
Make you work for your food.
Yeah. Make your body work for its food.
Yeah. Because it is all about like, you know, calories out, calories in, but no one ever really talks about like the differences in calories. Because as like diet culture goes along, I've always heard a calorie is a calorie is a calorie. So why it doesn't matter where it comes from. But no, it does. It
well,
really
and I think it also goes along with a pound of weight or a pound of fat is different than a pound of muscle, which it is, because density wise and health wise, it's different. But you always thought like a pound is a pound.
Right.
But again, that's a misconception from years of diet culture that a pound is a pound. That's not accurate.
Yeah.
So
and you know the other fun fact I learned the other day?
What?
So everybody stores their fat differently. So you are born with a number of fat cells. You don't change your number of fat cells. So when you store fat, you are basically filling up your fat cells like a balloon. Each cell is a balloon, right? Oh. And when that balloon is full, that's when you start spilling your fat into being stored elsewhere, like stored in your liver, stored in your kidneys, stored in your blood vessels. And everybody has a different capacity in their fat cells. So you have a safe level of fat. So you can be overweight, you can be in the obese category and fully healthy if all your fat is stored in your fat cells.
Huh.
But if your fat is not stored in your fat cells, that's when you get disease like diabetes, blood pressure, etc. And there are genetic differences. So people from Southeast Asia get diabetes much lower weight than the American or the UK population, and that's because they have less capacity in their fat cells.
Wow, I did not know that.
Yeah.
So you can genetically store fat completely safely, and that is different for everyone. That's your level of safe fat. When you spill outside that, that's when you start getting disease. So it is not right to say that it is unhealthy to be fat or to be overweight.
Well, and I remember
but it is.
Oh, sorry.
But it is not. It is equally not right to say you can be as large as you like and not worry about your health.
Well, because even when I went in to get my surgery, I had zero comorbidities. Like, I just was very nervous for my future because I know in my family health that they all got diabetes basically. They all died from cancer. There's high cholesterol, and some of them have sleep apnea. So I was like, I don't want this. Like, I'm 28 right now, 27 at the time. And I'm like, I can't do this to myself. I can see my future. I can see what it can look like. I'm already 300 plus pounds. And when Dr. Patterson did all my labs, she's like, you're very like healthy on the inside. She's like, I'm actually very proud that you came in and got this and wanting to get this done now, because we're going to be able to prevent a lot of these things that you're worried about for your future.
Amazing. And you were in your safe fat storage zone. But if it had continued, you would be in your unsafe zone. And that you are exactly the type of patient that I think should have surgery, because it is the least risk for the most benefit.
Oh, very nice.
If you are somebody who has breathing problems, liver problems, diabetes, high blood pressure, your risk from surgery and anesthetic is much higher.
Right.
Therefore, your risk-benefit ratio is slightly lower. It is much safer to operate on people to be preventative rather than treating.
I like
it. Okay.
So tell us a little bit about you. Like, how did you get into being a bariatric surgeon?
Yeah.
Was that like your first specialty, or were you a surgeon or a jack of all trades before this?
So I wanted to be a doctor from whenever I can remember. My family is not medical, but for some reason it's what I wanted to do. And actually, it was an American TV program that was on when I was 12 called ER.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
with George Clooney.
And we got those series and that just inspired me. I thought that was absolutely brilliant. I wanted to be like an ER doctor. And then I went to medical school, did pretty well, went through my training. And when I got to the point in my training about what speciality am I going to do, just by chance, my first job was with a female bariatric surgeon. And it was totally inspiring, spending time with her, watching her work, and her understanding of the patient and the problems with the patient. So for the first time in my surgical life, it was not just about the problem in front of you, like gallstones. We need to get out the gallstones.
Right.
It was a much more complex problem. And she had a really deep understanding of that in terms of psychology and everything. She introduced me to the sort of multidisciplinary world of it, and seeing patients get better and better and better as time goes on is very gratifying. So I just loved it, and that's the moment I decided I wanted to do bariatric surgery. And 7 years later, I started independently.
Oh, wow. So how long have you been independent?
So 2014, I started as a consultant surgeon. So I'm coming up for my 10th year now.
Wow.
How exciting.
Congratulations. It sounds like you are a very knowledgeable man.
Yes.
And you're teaching us all sorts of things, and we're just in the beginning.
Mm-hmm. I know, we just started.
Yeah, I have so many notes already.
I love it. So
that's what I try and do with my Instagram page. That there's so many patients out there who don't know why they've had surgery and don't know how their surgery works, and therefore don't know how to get the best out of their surgery. So I'm trying to educate as many people as I can, because there's too many people that think it's about not eating enough or not eating much. And
are you feeling a little sluggish? Little lack of protein? Little lack of caffeine? Well, we got the fix for that.
That's right. Dive Bar Nutrition has the best protein bars. They have caffeine, protein, and they taste delicious.
So head on over to divebarnutrition.com and use code OSLP at checkout.
What is Sequence?
Well, Sequence is an at-home weight loss program. All you have to do is take the quiz, meet your clinician, get your prescription, and you're already on the way to a healthier you. I know when I felt hopeless with my regain, I joined right away.
And I saw great results with Kel, so guess what? I joined. So go over to joinsequence.com right now, use OSLP, and you're going to get a discount.
I know I didn't have enough support during my weight loss journey.
She didn't. And when we found the tribe, we were over the moon because not only do they offer you at least one support group a day, but they give you the tools and the knowledge to really succeed on your journey.
That's right. So go over to thesleevedietitian.com and find the subscribe button for the tribe and use OSLP to get your discount.
That's the reason it's not working. There's so many people say, "Oh, my surgery's not working," and then you drill down into it, and of course it's not working because they're still binging on sugar. They haven't dealt with their childhood trauma. All of this sort of stuff. So they need help and education. And that's where you are good, and that's where hopefully I can help too.
Yeah,
exactly.
Absolutely.
I mean, we started this so we could support and educate and break through that stigma that weight loss surgery is the easy way out. And if you are listening to this podcast, this is like everything you've described. That's the furthest thing from the easy way out. Like,
seriously,
there's so many little details that you have to take into account when you have this surgery. So how do you handle therapy with your patients to work through those traumas?
So in my practice, you just can't have surgery until you've acknowledged what the issues might be. So our therapist doesn't necessarily do therapy, but she signposts to what the problem will be and the type of help that they might need, because therapy never works in a single session.
No.
Therapy is a long-term project.
Correct.
But it's very, very important. That's why every patient goes through her and her processes, and then we have a meeting about suitability for surgery. There are certain things that are complete red flags, and that patient should not have surgery. And that's very difficult because they get to the point of coming to see us because they're at the end of their tether and they want to have surgery. It's the only thing that's going to help them in their mind.
Right.
And we say no.
What are
telling somebody no?
Yeah, that's difficult.
That would be so hard because you know where they've kind of been.
Exactly. What are some of those red flags that you're talking about?
I think there's lots. One of the big ones is binge eating.
Okay.
And binge eating by its proper psychiatric definition. Because everybody who has bariatric surgery will have had some binge eating. That's part of what's happened.
Yeah.
But binge eating disorder by definition is a intake of food to the point of pain or the point of vomiting on a sort of repeated basis.
Okay.
And that behavior can be very dangerous in the early post-operative phase.
Oh, for sure.
Oh, yeah, that's so dangerous.
Yeah. Very dangerous.
You can cause a leak. You can cause yourself harm. You could die. That's the reality of it. So we say you have to be free of that pattern of behavior for 12 months prior to surgery.
Okay.
Now, most people don't have that. They may have done it once 6 months ago, but they're not repeatedly. But you occasionally get people who do that on a sort of daily basis or do it on a 2 or 3 daily basis. And that's part of their psychological stress and psychological coping mechanism. And these people must not have surgery until they've had help. You can say to them, absolutely, we will help you in time, but you have to address this first.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like that you're just not saying no. Like you're giving them a path to go down.
Yeah. Like I like the fact that there's openings. It's just like, hey, just not right now.
Yeah.
Just not right now.
Yeah. And the other big red flag is addiction. So, particularly alcohol addiction.
Okay.
Or very high alcohol intake, because, you've heard of addiction transference.
Yes.
So people who have surgery may have an addiction to sugar or addiction to food or addiction to eating, And post-surgery, you just can't get that high anymore from eating sugar or food because things are different. Things taste different. So often they're looking for that dopamine surge, that high, and get it elsewhere. And so, you can convert somebody who has an eating issue or a food addiction to alcohol addiction post-op, sex addiction, gambling addiction. All of these very dangerous addictions can emerge post-op. So again, you have to be very careful.
They can and do. We see it throughout the community all the time, and we're trying to talk about it more because we're seeing it more. We're recognizing. I think it's because like the more that we talk to doctors and therapists, we're starting to see it, and we're realizing what the kind of triggers are, the signs are, and it is very scary because like that alcohol goes through you very differently.
It does.
You're drunk really quickly, and so that it keeps you wanting more. And then all of a sudden you can just become an alcoholic and don't even realize it for a while. Friends and family have to point it out, and it's sad because you had no idea that this was going to be a problem. So maybe you didn't even talk to anybody about it, but it's very scary because you can really hurt yourself.
I know when I went through surgery, I had no idea about transfer addiction. Like I had no idea. And luckily mine went towards shopping. Well,
that was already a problem.
That it wasn't alcohol, but not luckily for my bank account because my bank account took a hit with that one. But I did not know that was a thing. And it is your addiction can transfer to shopping, to sex, to alcohol, drugs, any of those things because you're just trying to fill that void. And I think that also brings up the fact of why therapy, dealing with these issues before you have surgery is so important.
Yes, we couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
And that also leads into the impact on those around you. So relationships are affected. Partner may not be able to cope with the new you or the changes in you. So, it's not if you're in a relationship, if you're in a close family, it has to be a supported decision. If you go rogue alone, you're going to be in trouble.
Yeah. Have to have support.
So if someone went to your office, how would the process look? And and I want them to know the name of your office as well.
So I work at a hospital called Spire Gatwick Park, which is just outside London. So what would happen is a patient would find me, usually through social media channels, because they've seen my Instagram. What I hear very often is, I've been stalking you for years on Instagram. So they're sort of building up the confidence to make that call. And so that's the first step, is you have a free consultation with me. And because I see patients from all over the country, we usually do it via Zoom, that first initial consultation.
Okay.
It is very important, in my view, for it to be free and of no charge, because when you put money on it, it becomes an obligation. So if you spend, the equivalent of £200, whatever that is in dollars, to see a surgeon, you don't know, number one, whether you're going to be accepted.
Yeah.
And you don't know whether you're going to want to go ahead. So you are gambling with that money. So I like that first consultation to be completely obligation free. If I never see you again, then that's your choice, and good luck with everything. So that first consultation, we talk about their medical history, their reasons for surgery, everything about that. And I always finish by saying, is there anything from a surgical, medical, or mental health perspective that we've missed? So it just sort of gives them the opportunity to think, have I told everything that I should tell? Because that's not the be all and end all, because you're going to have subsequent consultations, but it's a really good sieve for me to work out if somebody's appropriate for surgery or not. And then if they decide that actually they want to go ahead with surgery, then they'll see my team, and we'll have a dietitian consultation, who will, assess what's currently going on with their diet, and then signpost to what life will be like afterwards. And then the all-important psychology appointment.
Yes.
and then we have an education appointment, and then we have a meeting where everybody gets together and says, does everybody agree this patient's suitable? And then you get your date for surgery. So it's
That's awesome.
a sort of five-step process.
I like that you have basically, essentially a medical panel about the person.
Yeah.
It's not just you making the decision or your dietitian making the decision. It's all of you together, and it's all the different pieces that you have to put together. It's like a puzzle.
Yep.
And I've learned over the 10 years of working with the same team that I trust them implicitly. So if the dietitian says, I got a bad feeling about this, I'm not sure this patient's ready, we put a stall on it. We don't even question it. If they're getting that gut feeling, it's for a reason. So it's very, very rare for us to have that. Usually we get unanimous support, but there's the occasional patient that you just think we have to put a pause on this.
Okay.
And then some people may be disappointed that they are not suitable for surgery, but we have alternatives to surgery. So we have gastric balloons, and we have medication, and we have therapy. So there are alternatives if you don't think about surgery or you're not suitable for surgery.
Can you tell us about the gastric balloon?
Yes.
I don't think we've ever had anybody really talk about it. So I'd like to know what that entails.
And why would you choose that over a different surgery?
Yeah.
This is an amazing topic. I'm not sure it's big in America, but it's big everywhere else in the world.
Okay.
Like really big. So there's a new type of gastric balloon that came in about 8 years ago, called the Allurian balloon.
Okay.
And this is basically transformed balloons. So before that, balloons were a surgical procedure. So you had to be put to sleep. You had to have an endoscopy to put it in, and you had to be put to sleep and an endoscopy to take it out. So it was a procedure before and after. And a balloon is basically, a ball of fluid that sits in your stomach for that period of time. And that was, lots of issues with that, patient intolerance, vomiting, discomfort, risks around the anesthetic, risks around the endoscopy. And then in 2016, the Allurian balloon came in, which completely transformed balloon therapy. It doesn't need anesthetic, and it doesn't need endoscopy, and it is much better tolerated. And it's basically a pill, which is the size of the tip of my finger. So literally that first bit there is the size of the balloon. And you put it in your mouth yourself, and you swallow it down, and it's got a little wire attached to it. And then we take an X-ray to make sure it's in the stomach, with this tube hanging out. And when it's confirmed, we then put some fluid down the tube, fill up the balloon, and pull the tube out. And then you are left with a grapefruit-sized ball of fluid in your stomach.
Whoa.
And the technology now is that balloon will self-deflate at 4 months. So you don't have to have it removed.
So when it self-deflates, where does it...
You just poop it out.
Oh!
Wow.
Am I allowed to say that?
Yes, you
of
are.
course.
1000%. Okay, I have more questions about this balloon. So, because I know people are freaking out a little bit when they hear that. So, but it's not can you talk about the texture of this balloon? Because I think people think it's like your regular balloon that you would just throw a water balloon at. So can we kind of talk more about how does this all work so people feel safe about it?
So this is very safe. So it's basically a very thin material called polyurethane, which is, I guess, like a plastic.
Okay.
But it's a soft plastic. So it's not silicone, which previous balloons were. And it's full of water. And when that water is released at 4 months, you just have some rolled up plastic that then passes out naturally in your motions. So the way it works is there is a stitch within the balloon that is holding it together, and it's inside the balloon. So that stitch is exposed to water at body temperature for 4 months. It doesn't matter what the patient's eating, doesn't matter what's in the stomach, because it's inside the balloon.
Okay.
And that stitch is engineered to dissolve 4 months. Exactly. 16 weeks on the nose, it will dissolve. And then basically the balloon falls apart.
Mm-hmm.
And the water is released into the stomach, which is no different to just drinking water.
Mm-hmm.
And then you pass the casing.
Okay. So when
So
you
it's
eat,
very safe.
how does that work? So like, is it hitting the balloon and then it goes around the balloon into your stomach? Like how does?
Yeah, kind of. So the balloon is shaped to the same shape as your stomach. So it's an elliptical shape. It's like that.
Okay.
It kind of looks like a grapefruit. You know how a grapefruit is not completely circular?
Mm-hmm.
It's like squashed a bit. It looks like that. And it occupies 70% of your stomach. So instead of you filling 100% with food, you're going to feel full after 30%.
Okay.
And the food that you're eating and the food that you have in your stomach stays in your stomach for longer. So you feel fuller for longer.
Wow.
So that basically gives you 4 months where you are less hungry and you are eating less. And during that 4 months, we work with the dietitian. We try and get you a lifestyle program, a nutritional program that is going to be sustainable when the balloon goes.
Okay. How much what is the percentage of success on having a balloon versus a surgery?
So with a balloon, you can expect on average to lose 10 to 15% of your total body weight.
Wow. Okay.
Now, with surgery, you're going to lose a lot more.
Mm-hmm.
But these are two completely different opposite ends of the spectrum options.
Okay.
You know, if you don't want to have surgery or you can't have surgery, then this is an option. And we can also put it in at a lot less starting BMI than surgery. So surgery, we start at BMI 35.
Mm-hmm.
The balloon starts at BMI 27.
Okay. All right.
Okay. And I guess so that's why you would choose one or the other, is if you basically just had like a lower BMI.
Yes. So for some people, you can't have surgery.
Mm-hmm.
For the patients who are, BMI 50 plus, this balloon is not going to meet their requirements. You're not going to lose the weight you need to lose. It's not going to change what you need to do. But for the lower BMI patients, it can be transformative to the point that somebody won't need to have surgery, because it's the kickstart to a change in lifestyle and a change in the behavioral side of things. But it doesn't change your physiology, like we started talking right at the front of this. It doesn't do anything to your long-term physiology. So if you are BMI 35 and above, you are likely to lose weight with a balloon, but it's likely to go back on again.
Okay.
Just like you've experienced with your diets in the past.
Okay.
But what is really good about it is it's 4 months, and you can time it to 4 months. So for people who are, a few pounds overweight, more than that, you don't work in stones, do you, over there?
No.
Anyway, a few kilograms overweight, and you have an event like you're getting married or you're graduating, you can time the weight loss.
Oh,
wow.
That's a good little trick there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Before the award show. Just point it out.
Yeah.
Apparently.
But if you've had weight loss surgery, you can't have a balloon because it has to go into an untouched stomach.
Oh, that was going to be my next question. Because I was
Okay.
going to say, we both obviously have had sleeve surgery.
Mm-hmm.
So is this something that we could technically do later in life? Because I'm 8 years out. She's 4 years out. How does that work?
So you can't have that for sure with a balloon. But, weight regain after a sleeve can be problematic. And it is now expected. So when we consent patients for surgery, we say that we are expecting you to regain. Now, we wouldn't expect you to regain all of your weight, but you are going to regain quite a lot of it. Maybe not quite a lot, maybe 50%, because that's what the science and the studies show us. The bypass is more durable and less likely to result in weight regain.
Okay.
But it comes with its own problems.
Yes.
You know, and people choose sleeves very reasonably, and this is a worldwide most popular surgery to avoid the problems of bypass.
Correct. Yeah.
Because people don't want to do that. So I think you have to expect some regain from a sleeve, and that's where you have to start thinking about alternative measures like the medication, like working really hard on the psychology, and expect that your future is going to be ongoing work rather than I've had surgery and I'm done.
Yeah.
Okay. So as far as GLP-1 medications or weight loss surgery weight loss medications, how does that work in the UK versus the US? Is it FDA cleared over there, or I don't know what your guys' equivalent to that?
Well, you guys are laughing in the US because you've got 2 medications authorized. I think you've got the Saxenda and you've got the Wegovy.
Wegovy. Yep.
Now in the UK, the Wegovy medication has not been authorized for weight loss. So it is a diabetic drug, and it's only licensed for diabetes.
Okay.
Now, what's happened in the UK is that people have been doing prescriptions off license. So they've been prescribing this medication for diabetes for people to lose weight. And it's created a national shortage of the medication.
Yeah.
And there are now diabetic patients who cannot get their medication, which is really sad.
Yes.
So in the UK, they have not authorized that, whereas in America, it is completely licensed to have, my understanding anyway, is Wegovy for weight loss, because it is a very powerful weight loss, and that's wonderful. I think that's great, because I think the UK patients are being denied that treatment just by keeping it to the diabetic field.
Yeah.
I think that it's hard because it's like we need this medications as much as patients need it for diabetic or being diabetic, and it's frustrating because it's like, just make more of it. We just need more of it all around, and we need people to understand that it's it's saving our lives too by not going back, not regaining all of our weight, getting back into having diabetes. It's a preventative measure on as far as a weight loss.
And it's the stigma that is the problem. So there are doctors and government people who are making all the decisions who don't treat obesity as a disease. They see it as it's a lifestyle problem. It's not. It's a metabolic disease. And if the people who made the decisions, at government level understood the science, we wouldn't have half the problems we did now.
I know. I wish we had more. I wish we could have medical professionals on those committees or boards because it baffles me that they're not taking those things into consideration, considering
if I had more time, I'd run for Prime Minister.
Yeah.
I'd do it.
Simon Monkhouse for Prime Minister. I like it.
I can see it.
I like it.
You're very knowledgeable.
Yeah.
It is frustrating, and I understand where the diabetics are coming from
of course.
Because I know people that are diabetic or born diabetic, and when they don't have their insulin and they don't have their medicines, shit can go wrong in their body.
Yes.
So I understand why they get upset with the other people like us taking it, but it's just that we just need more manufacturing. It has nothing to do with who's who. It's just the manufacturing.
And there's so many medications out there that are prescribed for different reasons. I am on a medication that is prescribed for three
and as you say,
things.
the kind of weight reduction, particularly post surgery, is an equally valid indication for this drug. So I hope Big Pharma are listening and they push out more.
Yes,
That's right.
we
You
are
better be
too.
listening.
We are too. Big Pharma, listen, so that we can get our medications. The other thing is are these weight loss medications, are they covered by insurance in the UK?
Yeah, how does that work for you guys?
No, so in the UK, you either have surgery or medication on the National Health Service,
Okay.
or you have it privately where you have to self-fund it. There is no insurance coverage for weight
Wow.
loss surgery.
Wow.
So every patient in the UK who hasn't had surgery through the National Health System has probably self-funded it, completely, because the
Wow.
insurance companies see it as a lifestyle problem, not a health problem.
Well,
Makes me so angry.
well, because they want money
And
for all the diseases that it causes.
the NHS, the wait can be up to 3 years.
That's what I've heard. In like Canada, it can be up to 5 or something like that, right? Yeah, it's wild.
And here
And
we're like 3 months to a year.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of our.
Yeah. But some of our wait in the NHS is artificial. So they make you do this 12 months of lifestyle program
Mm-hmm.
where you have to demonstrate you can lose weight on your own
Mm-hmm.
before you're considered. But the science says that you can lose weight, but you can't keep it off.
Yeah.
That's what the science says. So we're just wasting a year of our lives,
Mm-hmm.
Well, in
trying
time
to tick this box that
like
doesn't need to be ticked.
it's so wild to me that they're just like, yeah, let's waste time, money, and everybody's like effort here.
Yeah. And they're like, oh, you haven't thought about dieting? Oh, sure. Yeah, of course they have. You don't get to the point that you need help without going through that process.
Nice. And you do prescribe these when you have the chance to do this, or does your office not do that?
So I've looked into it because I want it to be part of what we do, because it's the new science. It's validated. It's our evolution of weight loss offerings. So we must move with the times, and we must offer the latest scientifically endorsed medication. The problem is I can't start it because of the national shortage, because they said that very reasonably you can't start a patient on a 4-month program if you can't guarantee the supply.
Oh, okay. That's fair.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So, yeah. So I am waiting until Big Pharma steps up and there is no national shortage.
Okay. Yeah.
Man, I wonder when that's going to kick in.
I don't know. Although the last 2 times I've gotten my Mounjaro, it's been no problem. So
that's good.
Yeah. I don't know if it's a problem in the US, but it's definitely a problem in the UK.
Oh, it's been a huge problem here. There are people that are waiting months to get their prescription because there's just no, you can't find it anywhere. And I've literally driven 45 minutes away from me just to get my medication because it's at this location and not this location. It's bizarre, but that's what we do to get our medication.
That's right.
So what is your number one tip for weight loss surgery patients to be successful on this journey?
Absolutely, the number one tip is don't think the surgery will work alone. So we have a problem in the UK in that there is very, very cheap surgery being offered abroad. So in places like Turkey, for us, very, very cheap surgery. And the UK is going through a cost of living crisis and inflation and all the rest of it. And people are just flocking to Turkey, flying on a plane, having their cheap surgery and coming back. Now, that in itself brings some problems, but the majority of people will be okay. So we're not saying that it's terrible surgery, but the problem is that they are just having surgery. And these people who just have surgery will not do well in the long term. They will do well in the first 6 months because it's all new, they're all motivated, they've got their Instagram before and afters, and they've got their little community that's saying well done to them. But when that dies down, 12 months later, they're going to be in trouble. And so the number one tip is acknowledge that surgery is only part of your journey. And if you want success, you have to do the whole journey.
Ah, okay.
And what would you consider as the whole journey for everybody? Like, what are you, because I know each doctor kind of has like the top pillars. So, like, what would be for you?
So people measure success in weight. So they're weighing themselves and they're posting about how much weight they've lost. Actually, a lot of the success of surgery is down to things that are not related to the number. It's how you feel about yourself, that job promotion that you suddenly feel confident enough to go for, that round the world trip on the plane that you were too scared to go for, playing with the kids in the park and running around. These are measures of success. And we try and tell all of our patients, please don't weigh yourself. We will weigh you when you come for a follow-up, and we recommend a 3-monthly follow-up. And we will, keep a track on that data because that data is important. But for you as a patient, that data is not important.
Right.
And if you can get out of the mindset, that sort of blinkered thinking of, I must lose this amount of weight, you will free yourself. And it's all about freeing yourself from the shackles of this, because weighing yourself and success and failure on the scales is what the last 25, 30 years has been about.
Yeah. We've been tied to it.
Exactly. And I want to see our patients have surgery, and that's the line in the sand where those shackles are not put back on again. So we tell people to bin the scales. Don't have scales in your house.
Wow. Oh, I like that trick. Because you're telling them, hey, we'll weigh you. It's not a problem. You'll still figure out what the number is. Just do the process and start doing things that you couldn't do before. Like Kel wouldn't go on any rides before. Like she wouldn't do any roller coaster rides.
I was so
theme
scared.
Parks, nothing.
I was so scared. And I don't think I related it to weight. I think I was so scared of something happening. But then once you have surgery and you're having all these non-scale victories and you're doing all the work, you're like, what? I didn't have the surgery, so I don't live.
Yeah.
So now I'm just like, screw it. If I die on a roller coaster, at least I'm having fun. So that's kind of where my brain goes, because we are here, we are having the surgery, we are doing weight loss medications, we're doing the balloon, whatever you choose to do so that you can live your life to the fullest. If you break it down, it's not about the weight. It's about the life that you're living.
Yes.
Amen to that. Hallelujah. Your whole community needs to know that.
Yeah.
They really, really do. We definitely celebrate the non-scale victories a lot on the podcast and through our social media network, because those are the times that are the best.
Yeah.
Like the fact that I was able to help chop down a tree, and I was able to build a deck and a fence and with my buddy and Kelly. And it was just so nice to be able to do it and still feel like a functioning person. Like I thought, for sure, because I was overweight trying to do stuff like this, I was like, okay, I'm going to wake up. I'm going to be so sore. My back's going to hurt. My legs are going to cramp. And I was able to build a fence and have no soreness in the morning.
Yeah.
I was like,
amazing.
What?
This
is incredible. So it's like you get to do things now that you never would have experienced before, whether that's being on an airplane, a roller coaster, or having fun with your friends and building things. I think that's a bigger deal, because now I know I like to be outside. I like to build shit. I like to do landscaping things. I had no idea.
Yeah.
No idea I like those things until you do them.
Because I feel like your weight got in the way of it, because you were like, oh, it's going to hurt. My feet are going to hurt. My back is going to be sore. So what's the point of doing it? I'll just stay inside.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah. Well, is there anything else you'd like to add?
And you know a really cool thing that is about to come in, and we've been talking a lot about it at this conference I'm at, artificial intelligence.
Okay.
How does that relate?
Well, one, tell people where you're at, the conference is, and what is that? The AI.
I don't. You must have it in America, but OpenAI, ChatGPT. Have you heard of that?
Yes, we have. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So basically, it's artificial intelligence, and don't ask me how it works. I have no idea, but it's it knows everything and can do everything, and it learns. So what they've developed for the balloon, so the Allurian balloon, they have trained an artificial intelligence program based on ChatGPT to know everything about the balloon and nutrition and everything else. And they're giving it to the patient as an app. So basically, this patient will have an app where they can ask artificial intelligence what to do. I'm struggling. I need a meal plan. I'm doing night shifts this week. Can you write me a meal plan based on, what I normally, what you know about me? Because I'm lactose intolerant, and that I don't like bananas because you're artificial intelligence and you learned. And this thing will just do it. I've got some cramps today. Why am I having cramps in my tummy? It's been programmed to, go through the process and basically guide this patient. And it's in their pocket. It's a 24/7 support for weight loss balloon.
Wow.
Now, that is going to be very quickly transferred across to the surgical world.
Yeah.
And imagine that you have a patient and they just don't know what to do. That they got some symptoms, or I'm constipated.
That's a big
the
one.
doctor will say, well, your own doctor can't help you because it's specialist, so you need to talk to your bariatric team. But they're all at a conference in Italy and you can't get hold of your bariatric team. What do? You ask artificial intelligence, which is on your phone, and it's been designed and learns. This thing is amazing. Artificial intelligence will learn and get to know you the more you use it.
Yeah.
It's very scary. Very scary. It's happening already, in all sorts of realms of life. But we've just seen it in action in this sort of weight loss field, and it's incredible. It's going to help patients hugely.
Wow.
Oh my goodness.
That's so cool.
That is wild. I mean, we've heard of it. We've never heard of it being used that way.
Yes, that is brand new information.
Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we tested it last night. So we had the first ever version of it, and all the surgeons and dietitians and everything in the room were testing this thing. And they're like ask it a question that you get asked a lot in clinic. So we asked it, and it came with a perfect answer.
Yeah.
What did you ask it?
I said, I can't feel my balloon anymore. So patients often have the balloon and they feel the balloon for the first couple of weeks, and they like that because they've got that restriction, and then they can't feel it anymore, and they worry that the balloon has burst. They worry that they've done something wrong, and it gave the perfect signposted answer, and it always caveats with, if you're not happy with this advice, please contact your team. It's not replacing the team.
Okay.
But it's there, and it's just going to transform.
Just another level of support.
There are so many patients,
yeah,
and that's why patients reach out to guys like you, because there isn't the support there, so they need support.
Yes.
And your community that you've created is fantastic, primarily for that. But if you have artificial intelligence in your pocket, you're going to ask that.
Wow.
Yeah, because I mean, if you can get comfortable with it, then why not?
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest deal, because that is why I came up to Kel that Thursday and asked her if we could do a podcast, because I know I was learning so much from her, but I was the veteran in the story, and I felt so alone and embarrassed and no support, and I wanted to be able to create that for other people. And the fact that now AI has come so far that you could have that in your pocket for those that we can't reach, for those that need help right away, immediate
maybe they're
questions.
not on social media, maybe they don't listen to podcasts, they don't want to be a part of that. That gives even them
a shot
to make this
a really good one.
Yeah, this journey the best it can be.
Yeah.
Well, Simon, is there anything else you'd like to add
before we let you go?
I mean, I could talk for 24 hours about this field, because it's it's so fascinating and there's so much to talk about. So no, I mean, I'm happy. If you got any other questions, just let me know.
Oh, awesome. So if you guys have any questions out there that you've thought of during this episode, go ahead and shoot them over to us or even Dr. Monkhouse, and he'd be happy to answer them. I'm
That's
so
right,
excited.
yeah.
This was a hugely eye-opening episode. So thank you so much for taking your time out from being in Italy
Seriously.
to record with us. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, and I'm sure if we get enough questions, we can do a round 2.
Yes.
Yeah, it's been my absolute pleasure. I've been following you guys for years, and I'm honored to be on your podcast.
Oh, thank you. All right. Well, we love you guys, and we will see you
Next time. Bye.